I work for two organisations. One is called Skills for Health, and the other is called the National Skills Academy for Health. And they sound very similar, don't they? And that's because they work very closely with each other. They are partners. What we do in both those organisations is try to help healthcare organisations to understand what training their staff need. We try to tell them what skills their staff need to have to work well with individuals and what their staff need to know to be really good at giving the kind of healthcare support that we know they want to. We also help healthcare organisations like hospitals, as we've been hearing about, and GP surgeries to put on really good training courses for the people who work there. Because we believe it is very, very important that all people who work in health have the training they need to do their jobs really well. And so I am very, very pleased to be here today to support the Treat Me Well campaign, which not only matters to me because of the job that I do, but matters to me because I have 3 members of my family who have learning differences and who are on the autistic spectrum. And I believe that what the Treat Me Well campaign is doing does apply, as the gentleman was asking earlier, to people who are autistic as well as to others with a learning disability. What we know is that people with learning disabilities don't always get the right support to be independent, to be healthy, or to have a good life. It can be difficult, as we've heard and as we saw in the fabulous video, to understand everything that a doctor or someone else at the GPs, at the dentist or the hospital is talking about. And the way some buildings are laid out can be very confusing and even scary. But we think that if the people who work in health and social care really do understand and listen to what people with learning disabilities need, they can then make sure that they speak and they behave in ways that treat everyone with respect, and that they make those reasonable adjustments that will make a difference for everyone. So they can then help people with learning disabilities to live well. 2 years ago, we did some work to find out what healthcare staff needed to learn about people with learning disabilities. We got help from a lot of other organisations to do that, organisations like Mencap and some of the others in the room here today. And we worked with people with learning disabilities and their families and their carers. We asked them all to tell us what was important to people with learning disabilities. They told us that everyone who works in healthcare needs to have some basic understanding of what it means to have a learning disability. They told us the things that healthcare workers need to know more about to be able to give individuals with learning disabilities the support they need. And they told us what people need to know about the special needs that children, young adults, and older people with a learning disability might have at different times in their lives, when they're young and when they grow older. We wrote this all up in a book called, and I'm sorry about this, it's a very long name, it's called The Learning Disabilities Core Skills, Education and Training Framework. Now, a framework is a bit like a bookcase or a ladder. It's a way of organising things for everyone, and that's what this book tries to do. It tries to organise what is the understanding, what are the knowledge that people who work in healthcare need to have to understand and work well with people with a learning disability. It is therefore a guide for individuals. It tells teachers and trainers, like doctors, what doctors and nurses need to know. We've made it available for free on our website for over a year, and so far around 4,400 people so far have pulled it down and used it. We're very, very pleased that Mencap have developed an excellent training course using that document as well. And another job we have is to make sure that learners have a good experience while they are learning. So we give out awards to trainers who are good at teaching people who work in healthcare. Our award is called the Quality Mark, and we hope soon to be able to award the Quality Mark to Mencap for the great work they do. We also work with organisations around the country who help healthcare workers to get better at their jobs and to learn new skills. We call these excellence centres. And one way we hope to help and support the Treat Me Well campaign is to make sure we link Mencap up with our excellence centres to help the centres understand more about good training for staff working with people with learning disabilities. We hope that all of this will mean more people in healthcare will learn how to treat people with learning disabilities well. Thank you for listening and for inviting me here today.